If you like history and you like KFC, then this is the vlog for you. Hey everyone, it's Cashew. Today's adventure brings us to Corbin, Kentucky to Sanders Cafe. This is where Colonel Sanders started it all. Now this is considered by some to be the first KFC, but others argue that the first franchised KFC, which was in Salt Lake City, is the true first KFC. Regardless, we're going to check this place out. Used to be a hotel as well, but now that part is a parking lot, and they've turned the inside into a museum. So let's go take a look. Our adventure starts here. So this is where the hotel used to be. Now it's parking for the cafe and museum. Most restaurants have a no shirt, no shoes, no service policy. I hope they had a spare. This door looks like it's the original one to the cafe. On this sign it says, "Birth of a Legend, Kentucky's most famous citizen." Colonel Harlan Sanders began the part of his life that brought him fame in a small gasoline service station on the opposite side of this highway. Born on September 9, 1890 near Henryville, Indiana, he left school at 12 to support his family. He held a wide variety of jobs as farmhand, soldier, railroader, secretary, insurance salesman, and ferry boat operator until 1930, when he came to Corbin, moved his family into quarters behind the station, and started pumping gasoline. This was then a main route to Florida from the north. Traffic slowed during the Great Depression, so Sanders, who enjoyed cooking, augmented his meager income by selling meals to tourists. His food was liked, his reputation grew, and his career as a restaurateur began. In 1932, Colonel Harlan Sanders bought the small restaurant near this site. Here he combined good cooking, hard work, and showmanship to build regional fame for his fine food. His restaurant and a motel, now gone, flourished. To serve his patrons better, Sanders constantly experimented with new recipes and cooking methods. Here he created, developed, and perfected his world-famous Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe. In 1956, plans were announced for a federal highway to bypass Corbin. That's Interstate 75. Threatened with the traffic loss, Sanders, then 66 and undaunted, sold the restaurant and started traveling America selling seasoning and his recipe for fried chicken to other restaurants. His success in this effort began the world's largest commercial food service system and made Kentucky a household word around the world. And here's the museum. And this is a Colonel Sanders highway sign. Here's a very nice bust of Colonel Sanders. And here's a good photo op. Even the Colonel is a Cashew Paul fan. Be sure to like and subscribe. This is one of the Colonel's original suits and walking stick. This is a poster of Harlan Sanders when he ran for state senator. This is a clip-on string tie that waitresses wore. Here's a recipe book he had that contained 20 recipes for various items. I like this. This is a Colonel Sanders Halloween mask from 1969. And I saw two others when I shot my vlog of Cocaine Bear at the Kentucky Fun Mall. This is one of my favorite. This is a postcard of a squirrel drinking from a KFC cup. This looks like a KFC bucket, but it's actually a glass globe from a hanging chandelier that was used in a KFC lobby in Lexington, Kentucky around 1969. This little brown jug Kentucky Colonel pepper shaker was used here at the cafe circa 1955. I know there's a little glare, but this is a postcard of what the court and cafe used to look like. And here's one of the original menus. Well, this is interesting. This is an uncashed check signed by Harlan Sanders. I notice here in Kentucky I see lots of images of Harlan Sanders in various forms. This pressure cooker is identical to the first type used by Colonel Sanders in 1940. Here's the Colonel with a cook in the original kitchen. This 1931 photograph shows the Colonel in the background with his son in the foreground at Sanders service station. Wow, look at this. This is a 100-pound barrel of the Colonel's basic formula. And here's a model of what the area looked like in 1940. Here's the cafe where I'm currently standing. And here's Sanders Court. In the mid-1960s, a KFC in Shelbyville, Tennessee had this weather vane. While I'm here vlogging, I thought I would take a break and have some lunch. I'm having 4 chicken legs, mashed potatoes and gravy, and coleslaw. One of the employees told me that this is the original floor. So underneath the tables lies the original table. So they just lift up. I was also told this is the original ceiling and wall paneling. They also told me that the light fixtures are original with some modifications added. They used to serve breakfast, and this is how the setup would look. This is the original furniture to when they were having more of a sit-down meal rather than a fast food meal. And all of the dishware is the original as well. The Colonel had a very interesting marketing strategy. Inside his cafe, he had a mock-up of what the motel rooms look like, so you could determine if you wanted to stay here or not. Check out the old payphone. Check out the original tile and fixtures. And this is the kitchen where the Colonel would prepare the meals. This is the stove and mixer that he would use. And that's his dishwasher. This shows where his other cafe was located in Asheville, North Carolina. One of my friends from Japan said that on Christmas Eve they eat KFC. And here are a few items from Japan. And if you ever wondered how the Colonel would look as anime, here you go. That's a rather sinister looking Colonel. Do any of you remember the old cigarette machines? Must be Wednesday. Inside this room was the Colonel's office. Complete with hamster cage. I'm not sure if you can tell, but the calendar says December 1941. This is really clever. One of their original counters is now their gift shop. And here in Sanders Park in 2015, the city of Corbin unveiled a statue of the Colonel, minus the crown. Next to the park is this area that looks like a tablecloth. And here's a variation of the Abbey Road theme with the Colonel and some of his chickens. And just like the Abbey Road album cover, the Colonel is wearing a white suit just like John Lennon. This is where Ringo would stand. This one's barefoot like Paul McCartney. And this one's wearing white shoes like George Harrison. And those birds are lucky because they're not chickens. You know, the Colonel is a perfect example of the American success story. He made many attempts at different ventures and failed, and finally succeeded. And look what he has now, the KFC legacy. And I think he's inspiration to all of us to keep trying and never give up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. In the description box down below, I'll have a link to the Cave Hill Cemetery vlog I shot where I show you the Colonel's grave. I'll also have in the description box links to my Teespring if you want a t-shirt, as well as my PayPal and my Patreon. So till next time everyone, this is Cashew signing off.